Welcome again for the new session. In this new session, we are going to talk about the AM applications. So in this AM applications, we'll be focusing on functional models, pattern for investment and vacuum casting, medical models, art models, engineering analysis models, some things about rapid tooling, new material development with bimetallic parts, and lastly about re-engineering. So the emphasis will be on how these areas of applications are helping in cases of additive manufacturing. Okay. Let's know about functional models. Till now, we have come across the unique capabilities of additive manufacturing, which includes complexity of the shape, material, and functionality. And there we find that it can overcome the hierarchical complexity also and helps in mass customization and product personalization and product decentralization. In using these exceptional characteristics, the challenge for designer is to create high quality parts that meet the designer's requirement. The designer's requirements are such as functionality, mechanical properties, cost, and the designer has to ensure that the manufacturing is going to be happening in these AM systems only. That is the need. For that reason, the design for additive manufacturing is having certain objectives and goals. And these objectives and goals are set at 3 levels of abstractions. The tradition or 3 levels of abstraction were of a traditional design for manufacturing and assembly. Means from the tradition of design for manufacturing and assemblies, these design for additive manufacturing has been framed, which includes first is or the first level is to provide proper tools and techniques and have a guidelines for adapting the design with a certain set of final functional or manufacturing constraints. Next level is to make sure or measure and understand the impact of design process on the manufacturing system to improve its quality and productivity. Third one is to determine the relationship between design and manufacturing and evaluate its impact with the designers and practices which are going to be followed. So we see that in functional models, the first and the foremost important thing is how much time it is going to consume. Usually the design for manufacturing was a time consuming because it was taking more time in reconstruction and post editing stage, and by consequences we found that reanalysis was needed in case of DFM, where theoretically which is getting avoided in case of a design for additive manufacturing. So reanalysis has been totally eliminated and it has been brought into the beginning stage of this functional models. So here we can see the traditional method of design for manufacturing, in which the first one is making the mathematical model using design or a fixed space having design variables and objective function. Then we are going to impose the design requirements, and what we do is we perform the manufacturability like casting, machining, cutting, so these things. Then we are going to put it into the reconstruction or post editing work in the design. So if it was not viable or if there is any requirement of changes, then reanalysis would be imposed on the design requirements, and then it was forwarded for the conventional manufacturing, that is the subtractive or a formative type of manufacturing. But in the ongoing shift of design for manufacturing to design for additive manufacturing, that is in this lower graph, we can see that the elimination of reconstruction and post editing is taking place, and it is moreover shifted into the mathematical model itself only while doing its production itself only. It helps in imposing design requirements, and the performance and machinability is going to be taken care in the second stage itself only. Moreover, it will help in reducing the time, and it will overcome all the fixations or problems which were there in reconstruction and post editing. So in a layer by layer manufacturing, so if the CAD file is having some lacuna or if they are having some defects or flaws, it can be modeled, fixed, and it can be overcome here itself only. And lastly, at the production level, at the base of what requirements we have, we can do the manufacturing, like we can implement the LBM method or EBM method also for completing of the additive manufacturing products. This is what happens with the help of a functional model state analysis or a functional model tool in case of additive manufacturing. Under functional models, we have another part is the part consolidation. So PC is also an important design strategy for reducing the number of parts. Just not reducing the time will help in overcoming the conventional manufacturing techniques to promote additive manufacturing, but we are finding ways in which the number of parts can be reduced and simplify the product structure. Using this technique, that is part consolidation, the aim is to reduce the cost and moreover weight and enhance performance. PC enables for AM is having considering the freedom to distribute and configure materials. It was mainly launched with the possibilities of reducing more number of parts. Nowadays we are seeing industries and academicians are demonstrating and passionately they are working on making some innovations, or emerging techniques have been made used for making it compatible. So here is one example of a Airbus A320 hinge bracket, which is this one. This is the shape of this one. So there is a CAD model, it has been synthesized and its layer technique has been done and simulation has been done. Remodeling or reframing is taken place and parts have been consolidated and many parts have been eliminated, and we can see the design coming out with a quite a good structure. This could happen, or redesigning could happen through the topology optimization, or we call it as TO technique also. And we can also see that the part consolidation technique is getting used in various product development also or innovative product. Here is one example of a seat bracket. So this is a seat bracket designed for using the conventional technique. Here by using the additive manufacturing and part consolidation technique, so they were able to design one part with the creative designs of 150 plus designs. So the consolidation was into 8 components into a one part, a single part, so it could reduce that much, and it has been found that it is quite lighter in weight, that is 40% lighter in weight, and there is a gain of a strength of 20% when compared to its previous design. So this is how the modeling technique, or based on the requirement and what type of functions these components are going through, or what are the type of loading they are going to be having or sustaining. Based on that, the models are generated, tested, and they are being fed into the additive manufacturing machines based on the requirements. So this is what functional model technique is helping in additive manufacturing. Next is application of additive manufacturing for pattern in investment and vacuum casting. So we know that conventionally the wax pattern were used in traditional investment casting methods to produce injection molding process with a very high cost, and they used to take more time. The lead time or estimated time for these castings to produce used to take around 2 months, and sometimes it used to take 6 months also if there are any changes to be taken. So there the many iteration used to take place. A major hindrance for companies in that investment casting foundries are they were unable to produce prototype casting until the injection mold is completed. To answer this, additive manufacturing with FDM technology provides an alternative method for producing investment casting patterns that are more efficient and cost effective. Here is one example of additive manufacturing evaporating casting. Here, with the help of FDM technique, the first 3D print polymer shape which is to be prepared is generated. Then on that, secondly, a ceramic coating is done, so that will be giving a stiffness or strength to them. Then that is inside this ceramic coating, we are going to pour the molten metal onto the polymer to vaporize it and fill into the mold cavity. So this one was used. Then the obtained casting that is exactly replica of the polymer shape, that is this one, could be seen here. So this is how the pattern making in replacement of a wax pattern is happening. So this is how it is going to help. Similarly, we could see that this type of patterns are basically, or vacuum pump type of a casting, basically helping in designing these impellers. The impellers could be designed. Here are these investment casting using the vacuum pump casting. Next is additive manufacturing application in medical models. So we know that additive manufacturing printing technology have vast applications in medical world. So they are helping in transforming the practice of medical or medical field and making possibilities of having a rapid prototypes which are of a very high quality and which are very similar to the bone transplants, and models can be generated of the similarities of the damaged bones for getting better analysis. So the medical fraternity or medical people are finding ways in which they can study and find out which area to be going through surgery and how they can have the implants. So they can have a ready model, and for the ready model, so what type of implant and what are the sizes, features, and how to install them, and practice of installing these implants helps the surgeon to give a perfect identical part into the joint itself only. So additive manufacturing printing methods permit to have a scan and build a physical model of a defective bone. So if there is a defective bone here, so they can take the scan model of that one and prepare the CAD file, and using that CAD file they can prepare the 3D printed object, and they can have a better idea of what is expected from them and put together a plan for producing the product, which may be given to the fabricator to prepare it to the dimensions and sizes required and to have a customized product. This will not only help in saving time and cost, it will give a better results also. Here is one titanium hip joint which is having a similar to our ball and socket type of a joint. So this is prepared using additive manufacturing. So now we can see that printing of them and having a different methods is making it possible to have it very near to the original, means the strength of these materials are near to the strength of the bones itself only, lighter in weight and quite they are rigid. So that is what is the help of these medical models. And we can see some of the techniques used, that is EBM technique used for hip, knee and carnial implants, and DLMS used for carnial implants, that is near our backbone or lower backbone, and SLS and SLM dental implants of stainless steel and titanium nickel alloys. So here are the some of the examples where the medical models are helping in creating the products which are going to be sustainable, helping in doing a quite a commendable job in a medical world. Next we will see additive manufacturing in art models. So till now we have known that additive manufacturing technology is a very powerful tool, but it is not only helping in other fields, but it is also helping in making art models also. So artists are able to use this tool in cases of fashion designing and in furniture designing. And recently we have seen that the headwear industries is also taking some part of this additive manufacturing as one challenge for making possibilities of virtual manufacturing techniques, which was unimaginable. Now we can see there are some manufacturers which are pushing themselves for creating some accessories or clothing or footwears using 3D printing. So using SLS techniques and FDM techniques, there are some manufacturers which are bringing out these products. Then as I have mentioned that the virtual reality or VR mask are also coming out, some of the projects where they can implement a headgear to the need of the customer and having all the features of whatever is needed. So this is how the additive manufacturing is following the trend that is in the art model also. Next, rapid tooling. So we know that aerospace companies can also get benefit from additive manufacturing. By using this technique, they are able to produce custom tooling equipments like jigs and fixtures on demand. So wherever there is a need of this special types of jigs and fixture for one custom part, they can go. So AM is used mainly to cut down the lead time for this custom made tools. Previously, the company used CNC's milling to manufacture these tools, which was having a more lead time. It was extending till 6 weeks. Now with the FDM 3D printers, companies can create products in just a couple of days and hours, which is reducing the time. So a lead time reduction of 95% is also quite possible. And companies claim that with this new approach of tooling production, it has also come across with cost cutting. So cost has also reduced by 40%. Here is one special shaped clamp designed for firmly holding a duct for aerospace. So this is a clamp which is designed. So there are one jig and here there are the holding bolts which are going to be put into this one, and this will help in holding and doing some manufacturing operations. Then here we can see this FDM based bending tool, which is specially used for the bench vices to clamp it and bend this sheet. So notably we can see that tools are ergonomically customized, making the operator's job easier and resulting in faster and more efficient production in time. To produce high quality parts, tooling aids are needed in manufacturing and assembly. This is inevitable, but by using this rapid tooling with the help of this additive manufacturing, the time requirement for production can be reduced definitely. Here we will know about the new material development happening in additive manufacturing. AM process parameters and material properties are seeking to expand the portfolio of materials available for AM processes. So we have seen that for different AM processes and in the classification of AM processes, the classification has been mainly done on the materials which are being utilized in those processes. The main recent advances in additive manufacturing material development are described below here with telling about each material class. So firstly, polymers are by far the most used material in AM. The main reason here is it is simple in processing and easily available. Cost is very less when compared to different processes, that is non-polymer processes. As the mechanical properties of printed polymers seems to be a major concern, large efforts have been carried out to make these processes having certain composites. So various composite processing techniques are being used in AM. Nowadays, many metals, that is steel, titanium, aluminum and nickel alloys are successfully processed by AM and used in disparate applications. However, not all alloys belonging to these families can be successfully processed by most metal additive manufacturing techniques. For example, the laser powder bed fusion and electron beam melting and direct energy deposition. They have certain constraints. But we have seen that the ceramic AM process have rapidly evolved in recent years. However, in many cases, the mechanical properties of manufactured parts don't reach the desired values. Because of this reason, lately large efforts have been made to improve the ceramic AM processes capabilities and to enlarge the palette of processable materials. There is quite a good involvement of the high performance ceramics, that is HPCs, also in new trends of material development. Here is a pie chart which shows the share of new materials which are coming into the product development and how they are contributing in additive manufacturing or development in additive manufacturing. The major share of building materials is happening through the usage of steel and iron based alloys. Next comes the titanium and titanium based alloys. Then we are having the composites and the nickel based alloys, and lastly we can see a least amount of ceramics also getting into this new material of additive manufacturing, and rest all are the composition of different metals. So we can see from this chart that there is ample of opportunity for development of new materials and new metals for bringing quite durable and sustainable products of additive manufacturing. Next is the bimetallic parts. With the development of AM technologies, researchers are finding out new ways or techniques for designing and fabricating novel structures which are comprising of bimetallic and metallic ceramic compositions and some graded materials. Direct energy deposition and PBF based AM technologies are the two methods which are used to fabricate metallic materials. Selective laser melting, electron beam melting and selective laser sintering are popular powder bed based AM technologies. Recently, the lens technique, or we call it as a laser engineered net shaping technology, is getting evolved. This technology is a directed energy deposition based AM method. However, it is ideally suited to produce compositional graded materials. So here the laser beam can be focused on the substrate and melt the fed powders carried by the inert gases or argon gases. Additionally, a multiple powder hopper feature allows different types of powder mixing in the suit during the fabrication process. The studies have demonstrated that the lens technique is a viable method to fabricate bimetallic and compositional graded materials. Here is one case study where we see that a bimetallic structure which belongs to different class of multi-material structures is having a potential to offer unique solutions to many engineering problems. In this case study, a bimetallic structure of Inconel 718 and titanium alloy, that is Ti64, are processed using the lens technique. So here is the method which is applied, where we can see the Inconel first base material on which the titanium alloy is going to be processed, or it is going to be coated. During the lens process, 3 build strategies are attempted. So first one is the direct deposition, next one is a compositional gradation and use of intermediate bond layer. The Inconel 718 and Ti64 alloys exhibit thermal properties mismatch along with the brittle intermetallic phase formation at the interface, resulting in delamination. For successful building, a use of compositional bond layer, that is CBL, was employed, which was a mixture of a third material, that is vanadium carbide, with the parent alloys to form an intermediate layer used in bonding the two immiscible alloys. So bonding is taking place because of this compositional bonding layer, that is CBL. So you can see the cross section or the microstructure of this taking place here. So a crack-free bimetallic structure of Inconel 718 and the Ti64 is demonstrated in this picture. Next is remanufacturing. With the advancement of technologies, it is foreseen that the manual repair process or remanufacturing of products can be possible or is getting replaced by digital restoration, such as the additive manufacturing technology, and it is becoming one of the primary options. The state of art in AM technology is opposite to the subtractive manufacturing technology. Here AM is having the capability of building materials layer by layer. This technology can also help in building any broken parts and return the product as good as the new condition. So here is a typical example of a turbine blade produced by DED process. So this is the blade which is first manufactured, then after having utilization, so the blade is getting damaged, or here is a damaged blade, and with the same DED technique we are able to restore the blade quite very similar to the new blade. This is mainly possible because of this additive manufacturing, that is having the capability of binding the materials layer by layer. Okay. To summarize, in this session we have completed the AM applications, which we started from functional models and ended till the remanufacturing. In the next session we will be talking about the applications and examples for aerospace, defense, automobile, biomedical and general engineering industries. Thank you. You can contact me through my email ID, that is naveen.kalal@cameraengineering.in.